Hey guys, so let's talk about Triviality, the new book that I've recently published. So what led me to publish this book is science fiction. Because I've already published two other books and I've also written other novels that are published on Amazon. And all of these novels have different, what you could say, genres. For instance, I wrote Oblivion Affection. That was basically, what you can say, a romantic, mind-bending, fictional story. And I also published Hitler's Nephew that I started writing in 2010. That was spy fiction. Yeah, so spy fiction, then romantic drama, and now science fiction. So I wanted to delve into science fiction just because I was so inspired by a movie called Interstellar. Yes, that was directed and co-written with his brother by none other than Christopher Nolan. Yeah, the guy himself has done a lot of spectacular movies. So he plays with time a lot. Like his first movie, I think Memento was his first, or probably Insomnia was his first, I'm not sure. Yeah, he also made Following through his own handheld camera. That was released on YouTube probably. And he made that movie with his own friends. He hired his own friends to be casted in his movie and then made it into a feature film. So yeah, I would say his first movie was Insomnia, a very different take, a thriller, and then Memento, he plays with time, Dark Knight movies, Dark Knight trilogy, not science fiction again, a superhero fantasy movie. So he delved into different types of movies. He did Dunkirk also, he did Tenet. Yeah, so he went into different realms and genres and did them spectacularly. So that's why I wanted to write something that's unique, and it also holds a perfect, I would say, a very in-depth scientific journey and emotional story also. So I connected those parts, science fiction, emotional story. You could say it has to do something with time also. So let's start talking about it. What does this book is all about? So where does this name come from? Triviality, the title of the novel. Where does it come from? So anything that is trivial, that is not important. So in this book, humans are basically the world is losing gravity and humans are feeling the effects of it. The aftermath is that we are experiencing, mankind is experiencing lots of Earth on our Mother Earth. So that's the reason why we have to have some sort of solution and a permanent one. So the story revolves around a guy who is teaching at a university. He comes across a student who solves an old equation. For instance, let's say we have E is equal to mc squared, and one day we come across a kid who, or for instance, if I'm teaching, because I also taught at a senior instructor for 2 years in the college. So yeah, I started imagining that if I come across a student who is able to solve E is equal to mc squared and say there is some sort of a problem, and now we cannot use, and now E is equal to mc squared is not valid anymore. So if it is proved that E is equal to mc squared is not valid anymore, then we're gonna have a lot of problems. And there are other equations that also satisfies E is equal to mc squared. Those have to be corrected also. So it starts with this particular phenomenon. Well, the starting scene was, I remember, that there are two astronauts, and they're exploring they are on some planet, some unknown planet. We are not naming any planets. So they are on a planet, and one astronaut is watching the other. And the other astronaut, he goes to a particular place and he just disconnects his oxygen. So the other one gets worried, and that's where this scene finishes and our main story starts. So that's basically suspense, yeah, and that's going to be revealed later in the story at the very end, what's going on. So yeah, the story revolves around this guy who has lost his family just because of the earthquake that are happening because of this lost gravity and the frequency of these earthquakes is increasing. So humans have to find some sort of solution. So that's how I created this story. And obviously we're gonna play with time. Why we're gonna play with time? Because why I wanted to include time in this story. So in 2014 I completed my engineering and we did a project that was called as Zigbee based synchronized digital clocks. So the project was basically based upon my own dream. Yeah, so one day I saw a dream that I'm stranded in a desert and I don't have a watch and I'm unable to verify the time. I'm unable to verify if it's 6 a.m. or it's 6 p.m. I was unable to verify it. So I went to a teacher, basically a professor, and I asked him, sir, can we do some sort of this project where we have what we can say, a clock that is synchronized, a real-time clocks, some sort of thing like that. Because how do we verify time? So he gave me a bit of information about atomic clocks that have crystal oscillators. So yeah, he told me a bit about atomic clocks and he told me about synchronized clocks. And then we started working on Zigbee, and so what we did was we interfaced our microcontroller with a real-time clock that is also used on within your personal computers. I mean, if you turn it off your personal computer, when you're gonna switch it on, you're gonna see the time just going about their way as it is, the right time. So because you also have a small battery in there to get the time running. So yeah, real time clock. Okay, there's an IC and we interface it with the microcontroller, and then to basically synchronize our time through that device we use Zigbee. Zigbee works like a Wi-Fi, but it has good range, better range than Wi-Fi, and yeah, other things. It's all engineering. So yeah, I always used to think that, for instance, if somebody says that time right now, for instance, right now it's 3:10 p.m. in front of my eyes, and if somebody says it's not the right time, how can we prove that? So in order to prove that, so that was basically my idea. Use the time. So in this particular book, that kid is going to overturn the equation of time equation. And there's a fictional name that I've used instead of using Einstein's name, Olpasso di Teri. So Olpasso di Teri basically came up with this time equation, infamous time equation in the world of Triviality. And then all the other equations were surrounding it. Yeah, what they're going to do after that, and it's going to be proved that that equation was in fact not correct, and that particular student has done the correct solution of that particular equation. Then other equations that are related to it are going to be solved again. So yeah, they have a committee, World Gravitational Sciences, that's going to overlook that, and there's a different story going in the background. So yeah, all of that amounts to triviality. When something which is trivial to you which is for humans, for us, is gravity. Right now it's trivial for us, not important. We don't think of it when we're doing anything, but it's a very non-trivial thing. It's a very significant thing. But then again, when we're gonna start losing it, it's gonna become a non-trivial thing, or say significant. So yeah, triviality would be the name of, you could say, a particular device, or no, I would say a particular solution. We are going to name triviality as a particular solution. Here you can say triviality is a solution, and gravity is lost, triviality is the solution. So yeah, we're gonna name our solution as the triviality in this particular now. So yeah, I want you to go through it. It's not, if you're gonna read it the very first time, it's not gonna be very easy to understand. Yeah. So probably the second time you'll get to know what's going on. Yeah. So yeah, this is all triviality is about. Again, not a straightforward story. I don't like to write straightforward stories. I have to do some sort of time, mind-bending thing. And in science fiction, I can use time also. And well, it's not a time traveling thing in this particular book. Because most of the science fiction novels or movies, they use time traveling. So I have came up with a different thing. Yeah. So I came up with, you can say, for instance, if our time is not corrected, we're gonna start losing gravity. There's some sort of problem like this. For that, we need to create something to set the correct time. For that, we need to solve equations, for instance, the equation of Olpasso, teri, the time equation. If we don't solve it correctly, we don't have the correct time, we don't have a solution, we don't restore the gravity. So that's what triviality is all about. I hope you would like it. Adios.